Alright, this video starts out at the storage unit, home base if you will, where I've got a couple last minute things to get buttoned up on the car, and then hopefully figure out this Holley system so that I can crank it up and finally hear what it sounds like. First up, I got in a hurry and snapped a fitting clean off in the turbo. I don't have any left in the bit, so I'm gonna do this. Got a little star bit that I got it jammed inside. I'm gonna give it a couple taps with a hammer to make sure it's good and seated. Check me out now. Pull that sucker right out. Alright, so now that I got that piece out, gonna go back with, you know, what would you expect, but the exact same piece. But I think I know what was wrong. I put 3 Ooga Doogas on that last piece and it snapped, and this is definitely a 1 Ooga Dooga piece, so I'm gonna put 1 Ooga Dooga on this one and not snap it, and should be perfect.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
And with that done, and the Holley system kind of figured out, after 2 years, it was finally time to crank this thing. Now, in this moment, I'm about as nervous as it gets. I didn't really grow up with people who were mechanically inclined or building race cars. I'm just a guy that watched YouTube and decided to start building a motor on the back of his apartment. So we just say a prayer and kind of put it in God's hands. See what happens. Alright, you see me jump out, I start slapping headers. I'm just trying to make sure all 8 cylinders are present at the car. Got to get some new tires for the front. That means we got to make a trip to Summit. I'm going to go ahead and pick up a couple other things at the same time. Summit had this immaculate 1966 Chevy Nova on display. The inside was just as nice as the outside. This is a dream car for me. Roberto at Summit helped me get my parts and I was out the door. Since I had the tires off and I was at Summit, I decided to grab a quick suspension upgrade. A pretty quick, easy way to get another inch of travel out of your front suspension. Just got a longer ball joint. We're going to be replacing this top ball joint. Top ball joint, if we can extend it, is going to allow this to be higher up. And whenever the upper control arm is higher up in sitting suspension, that means that it has more room to come down. You have more travel. Alright, gotta put about 3/4 in this thing. It's a 4 9-inch, pretty standard. Now, I didn't see this thing wobbling like that, but even if I did, I probably wouldn't have cared. I mean, after all these years, I was too excited to take it for the first drive. Straight up, this moment was huge for me. It was a long road. There was a lot of late nights, a lot of days I thought it probably wouldn't even happen, but I just kept each day putting a little hours in, and it did. raining ain't no kind of way to take the car out for a first drive. So we're gonna wait for a sunny day. Tomorrow's my birthday, and we're gonna enjoy that out at the track. Fortunately, I won't be able to take this one to the track for my birthday, but maybe next year it'll be out there.
Before I start racing, I got an anti-roll bar to put in. My buddy JoJo on the other side of Dallas said, hey, I got a welder and a lift. Come on out. I got you. With me being in a storage unit, that was godsend.
Alright guys, listen, whenever you're building something or welding, it's just taking way too long to cool down. That's how you cool your pipe down. Oh yeah, it's cold now, brother. This thing's coming together. Got some ace welds on this thing. And now we just got to figure out where we're going to be putting the brackets. We know the brackets are going on the bar. We just got to mark a spot. All right, so we got the bar welded together. What you know?
Jesse James.
Whoa, Lord. Yo, so this is what we got going. We got the bar welded together. We got some zip ties in here helping the brother out, holding that thing up. That just makes it a little easier on you so you don't have to take it up and down. But we've got some marks on each side, so we know kind of keep it in between the lines. Once we get it tacked in on that side, we're gonna tack it in when we make sure with that tacked in, this tacked in, everything's
Well,
level.
shout out to my buddies Jesse and JoJo. We got the anti-roll bar finished up, then took it to Jesse's for its first ride around the block. Little did I know what was to come.
Left-hand turn at the stop sign. Is that all the brakes you do? Yeah. Just keep going.
Right about now, I know what you guys are thinking. 1, this car is awesome. 2, this guy spent 2 years building this car and he can't wash the windshield? Come on, man. It's the first drive.
Right there, turn right. To our ultra secret test spot.
Is that Jesse Park special?
Take a right.
Yeah, that wasn't just the intake popping off. The motor went boom. Yeah, all the parts from the inside tried to get to the outside. Not good.
God.
I am never going to financially recover from this.
So we're pulling this thing. Porch power did not serve long and did not serve well. So we're pulling this joker out. And we got a little something else back at my shop that we're going to try to pop in there. It's a hot one today, but we're going to do everything we can to get this motor out and get everything ready to slap on the new motor and get this thing back together so that we can make a pass. Many of you might know, for the longest time, I've been building this thing on the back porch of apartment complex. We've been building this car in a freaking storage unit, trying to keep it off of that Storage Wars show, you know, trying to keep them guys from, taking my car away from me. But now, having help, friends like Jesse, can't even tell you how much of a difference it makes, man. We've been making progress like I'll get out. So stick with us. We're going to try to get this thing put together. Well, not too horrible in here. Yep. That'll do it. That'll do it right there.
Oh, God.
Normally there's a stick attached right there. Right there, they normally have a stick that's attached to what you call a piston. Same for the other side. They do that on both sides typically, but...
I would say the big ones ain't the little ones, definitely.
Yeah. Yep.
Fully expect lots of pieces to fall out.
Yeah, there's already pieces falling.
Let's see here. No. Oh.
Look at you.
Oh.
Would you look
Oh,
at you?
would you look at that?
At this point in the story is where things kind of went from bad to worse. My best friend, my dog of 18 years, Rascal, passed away. Me and the ex split, and my dad started having a lot of health issues, so the car took a side note. But I got back on it, got the motor cleaned up, and I took it out to Ice Racing Engines. A lot of people know them as 2JM Fab. They've done a lot of shock work, and let me tell you, Justin and his brother are experts.
Fine needle on the end. That's one of the fuel hoops right there.
So this is what they place inside of a block, and think of it as basically
It'll go in the head.
This part goes in the head,
Mm-hmm.
and then they put a
The
groove
block
inside
will have a
of the block.
receiver groove. Yeah.
Not long after I dropped the new motor off, it was ready to be picked up and put back together.
It was born a Honda Accord, but I use it just like a work truck. Got the motor in the back because at the end of the day, you want to be safe. Make sure you stay buckled up, people. Safety first.
After we got the motor out of the car and unbagged, it was ready for us to hit it with a quick coat of paint and start assembling it.
All right, boys and girls, we got the crank all ready to go in here. All the main bearings in. We're just gonna set her in here. Putting the main bearing caps in here. Gonna get them all lubed up. Number 5.
And you'll know number 5 because one, it's got a 5 on it, but also the only one where the number's on that side.
Main studs, and these are ARP bolts, so they come with ARP assembly lube. So we're gonna use it.
Once we had everything torqued to spec in the bottom end, we threw the oil pan on, harmonic balancer, motor mounts, and all the other little pieces. Eventually, the motor was ready to put into the car. After a day of hooking up fuel lines, wires, and all the other little things, I got the car loaded up and started headed out to Wichita Falls. I was headed out there to meet a guy named Luke, somebody my buddy Roscoe told me about. And Luke has his own little shop with a dyno and has actually been tuning for quite a while. Let me tell you, it took a couple seconds like anything with a brand new car, but within just a couple minutes, I could tell Luke knew his stuff.
Oh my God! He lives! He lives! We got Beethoven in there, stroking them keys, making up a symphony for us.
Once the car was cranked for the first time, we strapped it onto the dyno and Luke started going to work.
This thing for 3.5 years just watching YouTube videos and trying to figure it out, so we're gonna finally get to see what it's like. Last time it blew up. This time we made enough passes, it's not gonna blow up.
Yeah, let's not do that again.
God bless. Good.
Let's go see what this thing does on the street.
He saw why I let out.
How was that?
Car's sketchy as fuck.
It's got a little rear steer in it.
Yeah. Did you see it?
Yeah.
It
Oh,
went
I saw it.
So we ride again. What are we doing in here?
Finishing up the trans brake wiring finally after freaking. You already know I done killed 2 whole sets of buttons and I haven't even made the first pass in this thing.
Well, very soon it will happen.
Hopefully this thing, if we can not hit no walls and keep all the goodie bits inside of the car, I'll be happy at the end of the day, man.
Keep her somewhat shiny side up. There's not really a shiny side.
Shiny side to this car,
So
but
the shinier.
With the car loaded up and ready to go, we started to make our way out to the track, but first I had to stop by Summit to get something for safety actually, a fire jacket. That way I don't turn into a piece of barbecue and they'll let me run at the track today. The track we're going to today is Extreme Raceway Park, a track outside of DFW in a little town called Ferris, Texas.
So as you can see, we made it to the track. The battery in the car is zapped. We expect no different. So we're cannibalizing the truck, well, the battery, to be able to run.
It's okay. That's one advantage of having the same motor in the race car as in the truck, you know?
Very
I mean,
true.
it's a battery, but
Battery's a battery,
if
but
a coil goes out, we're still good.
yeah.
You know, knock on wood, wherever it may be.
So with the battery transplanted and a couple last minute things, I was ready to strap in and make my first pass ever in this car. You best believe I was shaking like a leaf.
Back straight up.
After having issues on the first two passes, we got the tire pressure right, and I was determined to make a good pass. After getting a couple good passes under my belt, I was through the roof excited. Thanks again to everybody who helped me get to this point. If you're not subscribed, shift that subscribe button into gear because there's more to come.